Such a beautiful day. I do think the UK has the beautiful climate in the summertime. Perfect climate. It does get to, it's about 32 degrees now. It does get to about 39, which is getting a bit too hot, but very rarely is it too hot. Usually it's in the late 20s, which is just perfect. I like that. That's the perfect climate for me. Not too humid, good sunshine all through the summer. Beautiful. Winter gets a bit gloomy, too much rain. I like in the winter to go somewhere sunny. But of course, to go and live in that sunny place, you go down somewhere south, like say southern Spain or something like that, where it's good climate in the winter. Those places are too hot in the summer, far too hot. So ideally, you want to live away from the equator, like say in the northern hemisphere, live up north in the summer, most of the year. When it gets really cold and gloomy, go somewhere warm. There's just nice climate nearer the equator, nice climate in the winter. But of course you don't want to stay there all year because it just gets too hot. When you start getting over 40 degrees, even 50 degrees, it is just too hot. Some places it gets so hot the sun is concentrated enough it can melt a car. And this has actually happened. Places like Dubai, other places in the extreme hottest times when the sun is concentrated, it's melting the plastic of cars. Now, that is inhospitable. You cannot stay there. You just cannot. You're absolutely reliant on air conditioning. They have to be inside air-conditioned buildings. Costs a lot. The cost of living crisis is going to cost a lot to cool these places down. And if there is interruption of the power supply, if it goes down, what are you going to do? It's going to be very, very difficult. So I think a nomadic existence is the way forward. There are two sets of experts. One set of experts say global warming. It's going to get hotter and hotter. You need to move somewhere cooler. Another set of experts are saying global cooling. There's a new ice age coming. And they make a very convincing point. It's cooling, actually. I don't know which one's right. It could well be that they're both right. That it's going to be hotter summers, global warming, and colder winters, global cooling. Like extremely cold winters, extremely hot summers. Or one of those options more than the other. I don't know which one. So I want to keep my options open. I've got a northern survival retreat, which is lovely in the summer. Beautiful. This time of year, absolutely wonderful to live in. And you could live there all year round. It doesn't get really cold, like huge snow. It might get a bit of snow odd winter, but it doesn't get extremely cold. And you can always burn wood to keep warm. You know, I say dealing with cold is easy, as long as it's not extreme. You can always wear more clothes, you can stay warm. You can survive the hot, even if there's no electricity, no gas, no fuel. I mean, no fuel, like you can't afford your gas or electricity bills, your utility bills, or there's intermittent utilities. Sometimes they're off, power cuts, no gas, no heating. But as long as you can chop wood to burn, you can do your cooking and keep warm that way. I think that is easier than trying to keep cool. If you're in these places, tropical areas near the equator, where it's really, really hot, and the electricity cannot be relied upon. There's huge times where there's power cuts, there's no electricity. You know, you could have a generator to try and run the AC, but fuel, diesel is going to be so expensive and hard to get, and you attract a lot of noise with a generator. People are going to come looking to take what you've got, because I do feel hard times are coming. So I think ideal, live down there in the summer. Sorry, live down there in the winter. Avoid the extreme temperature in the summer. The place I've got in mind is Gibraltar, which is southern Spain. It's a peninsula off Spain. If you've got a British passport, it is actually British soil. You know, it's like Britain. It is you're on British soil, right down there, just north of Africa. You can see Africa, just over the coast. It's very, very close to Africa. Lovely in the winter, beautiful climate in the winter. Still plenty of sun. You can still swim in the sea. It's beautiful. In the summer, it just gets too hot. So I think travel back up to Britain for the summertime. That would be the perfect ideal. Have a northern survival retreat for summer, spring, summer, part of the autumn, and a southern survival retreat to spend the winters down there. I would love to have a winter survival retreat down in Gibraltar. It's British soil, so it's British banking, British currency, British hospitals, British everything. If you've got a British, passport. But even then, it's going to be hard to get flights. There used to be really cheap flights. You could buy flights down to Spain for £39. Very, very cheap. I say we're at the end of the cheap flight. That has come to an end now, because the airlines are cancelling flights, all kinds of trouble. I know people they booked one of these cheap flights, EasyJet or Wizz Air, and they just cancel the flight and you're stuck there. And of course the airlines should pay for you to have a hotel, a taxi to get you to the hotel, and they just don't pay it. They say you pay for it yourself. Like, we'll try and get you on another flight in a week's time, and you just keep the receipts for your hotel, taxi to get you there. Keep those receipts and you can claim back later. They never get their money back. They always try. They give all the receipts. I know someone, they kept having their flight cancelled a few times with Wizz Air or EasyJet, and right, surely we can go home now. No, the flight's cancelled. Wait till next Saturday, we'll try and get you another flight. And of course all those people are building up and up and up, and the flight that they're trying to get on was already fully booked anyway. So how are they going to get them home? In the end, they just hope, the cheap airline hopes that you will give up and book your own flight, like British Airways or something, very, very expensive, and then say do that and then claim to try and get your money back. You're not going to get your money back. The cheap airlines are all going bust. They'll all be going bust soon. So how would you travel? My answer is sailboat. There's two options for me in the UK. Sail right down past France, down past Spain, Portugal, and in to the Gibraltar Strait, into the Mediterranean that way. It's not to be taken lightly. The Bay of Biscay can have very bad weather. It's only for serious seafaring. The other option is take a bit longer, but a lot safer and easier and more pleasant in many ways. Go through the French canals. You come out in the Mediterranean and then down to Gibraltar. And even that is quite the final leg through the Mediterranean. You need a fair bit of seafaring skills through that way. But I like to have both those options. At the moment, the French canals are a great option. I can see a time in the future where maybe the canals are not possible to travel through for various reasons, and then round by sea would be the answer. But that's what I'm working towards. I've got my Northern Survival Retreat, I'm working on my Southern Survival Retreat, and the boat that I choose is a Drascombe Coaster. Beautiful looking boat. Absolutely, I've got lots of experience. My father taught me to sail on that boat when I was a very young lad, and we've had several Drascombes over the years, and now our Drascombe, it is, in my opinion, the nearest thing to a perfect boat for what I want. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect boat, because it depends what you want. Do you want a fishing boat? Do you want a sailing boat? Do you want a motor cruiser? You know, what do you want? What I want is a sailing vessel, a yacht, as comfortable accommodation for two, with a galley, toilet, kitchen, storage, very comfortable bunk. My wife wants to be able to get down comfortable in the bunk. It's very important to have a good night's sleep, and she's got to sail really well. And the Drascombe Coaster sails beautifully, very good. And you could just set her up with self-steering, and as long as somebody's on watch, take it in turns being on watch, she can, no problem, from Britain down to Gibraltar, no problem at all. Or through the canals, perfect boat for going through the canals, with a little electric outboard, solar panels on the roof, and you can row it. This is a serious yacht capable of ocean crossing. People have sailed on Drascombes from Britain to Australia, no problem. I say no problem, it's a serious business, but they've done it. There was a book written, Australia the Hard Way. 2 men sailed this Drascombe all the way from Britain to Australia. So down to Spain is nothing compared to going to Australia, absolutely nothing. So that's my plan, a Northern Survival Retreat, a Southern Survival Retreat, and sail back and forth between them two every 6 months on a Drascombe Coaster.